go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie, and today I have short DIYs for you using supplies from the Dollar Tree. So think nautical, maybe still a little bit coastal, but the first DIY we're going to make today is a beautiful lighthouse. We're going to start with one of these bud vases from the Dollar Tree. It's kind of got that shape already of a lighthouse. And I'm going to use burlap and convert this into a candle holder that looks like a lighthouse. So I'm going to have a lot of lighthouse DIYs today, and that is in honor of one of my Crafty Beach viewers that passed away recently. Her name was Gail Dix. Her daughter Melinda is one of my Crafty Beach Mom members, and they really enjoyed lighthouses, and she requested some lighthouses in honor of her mother. So I really hope that Melinda enjoys these DIYs today, and we're so sorry for your loss. So the first DIY, we're going to cover the vase with white burlap. This is that white burlap that they had in for the Dollar Tree recently with the Shore Living line. But you can kind of get this pretty much anywhere if you want to do the same color. I really like the white burlap because I think it's an interesting take on it. So I'm just cutting down enough of the burlap that I can cover the entire vase with that. And then we can kind of decorate it from there. I kind of thought about painting stripes on it to begin with, but you know, it's kind of an odd shape, so the stripes might go all over the place if they were like on there originally. And I'm glad I didn't, because I ended up doing something else for the stripes. But I'm trying to figure out like how to like roll this exactly where it's going to be tight against the vase, but still look nice. And I think I figured it out. So I'm going to do a bead of hot glue right here. Kind of do it straight up the side. Kind of flush with the bottom. I'm going to put a little hot glue there to secure it too. I do have it too long on the top, and I kind of did that on purpose because I didn't know like the angles this was going to end up in, because I need to pull it tighter around the skinnier part of the vase. And so I just glue that part down too. I'm trying to get it like glued in a straight line here where I can cut off my excess burlap and kind of have like a seam that can go on the back of my lighthouse. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to cut down the excess burlap here. And then as you can see, it kind of like I had to shape it kind of like a cone, so I'm going to need to trim up the bottom and the top. And I'm just going to go all the way to the top. I want to expose the glass on the top of the vase so I have something to glue the candle holder to. So that looks pretty good so far. I'm just going to reinforce that with a little bit more hot glue. And then we can start decorating this cute little lighthouse. I thought for stripes, this blue ribbon from the Dollar Tree, it's kind of like a, almost like a denim plaid. I don't really know how to explain it, but I thought this would make a great stripe, and it's gonna go well with the blue candle we're going to use on the top of this candle holder. So I just glue it to the bottom, and then just working my way up, just winding it around. I was trying to decide if I wanted like the fourth stripe on the front. I decided to go ahead and cut it off back here on that back seam. So there'll be like 3 stripes visible in the front, just making sure that it is tight. And that is like a perfect lighthouse stripe and so easy to do with a ribbon. Now I also wanted to do like little windows on the front of the lighthouse, and so I'm going to use one of these burlap bags from the Dollar Tree. I love this like synthetic burlap because it's like plastic backed. It's really easy to cut and it doesn't fray, but it's going to give me that nice coastal feel of burlap. And so I'm just going to cut out like 3 little windows for each little section of the lighthouse. I'm not really going to do a door. I'm just going to do the windows in that like classic like arch shaped. So I'm just trying to cut all 3 of those down to about the same size. And I think that looks like very, you know, soft and beachy. And it's totally going to go with the colors. I wanted to use like a lot of woods, burlaps, like soft beachy colors for this candle holder, and it turned out so cute. I was so pleased with the results. So I just hot glued all three of my windows, kind of like trying to keep them in a straight line. And I think that looks pretty good so far. Now I want to like have a base to this because I want to make it into a functional candle holder. So I want it to be super strong. I don't want it to tip over or anything. So I'm going to use one of these little wood slice signs from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to remove the hanger from it and you get a really nice sized wood slice. I thought that'd make the perfect base for this lighthouse. It's nice and large. I can decorate it with pebbles and stuff to give it that like shore feel. And I kind of want it to be really durable. So I'm going to use some of this like multi-purpose cement from the Dollar Tree. It's kind of like an E6000 right around the edges. And then a little pool of hot glue in the center for that quick hold. But I think this is going to make it a little bit more durable than just using the hot glue alone. And I just sit it on top and glue that into place. I'm going to kind of sit that to the side and we can start working on the top part of this lighthouse. Now I'm going to use just a Dollar Tree mason jar lid for this part. I want to make that little section of the lighthouse that has like, it's almost like a round balcony, and that is actually going to hold the blue candle holder, which is going to be the light part, the top part of our lighthouse. So I picked up this little like beachy blue color jar candle also from Dollar Tree, and it's just a matter of getting this sticky tag off. I just used some glue gun and a scraper, and this is going to be so fun because I can actually light it. So very cool. Instead of like, you know, a battery operated candle or something like that, we're going to have a real candle on the top of this lighthouse. So once I get it all cleaned up, then I can start working on the little base it's going to sit in. It fits perfectly in that mason jar lid. And again, it's a mason jar lid, so it's like two different pieces, but that's okay. We're going to kind of make that work for us. So I'm going to go ahead and put, you know, the inner part of the lid on first. Just gluing it, you know, regularly upright. Again, using that multi-purpose cement since we're working with glass. And I really want this to be durable. I just center that right on there, pushing that down, gluing that to the glass jar, which is why I kind of left the burlap off that section so I could get good contact with the glass there to glue this part on. And as you can see, it's kind of got raised edges. It's the perfect size for those little jar candles from the Dollar Tree. And if you wanted to switch up your colors, they have those little jar candles in all different colors. Now I don't even know what this part of the lighthouse is called, but I noticed a lot of lighthouses have this like, almost like a little balcony up there with little posts and rope wrapped around it. And so I thought we could kind of recreate that with some toothpicks. So what I do is I just trim like the sharp end off of my toothpicks and then just cut them in half. And I was doing like 3 at a time because I knew that we would need quite a few little toothpicks to make little tiny dowels to go around the side of that. Once I get them all cut down, we can start building that out. But this is what it looks like so far. The glue is starting to dry there on our lighthouse. And I'm going to go ahead and start on this section. So I'm going to like sit this down on top of it, putting like the jar lid back together. So it's going to be upright as well, but it's going to have these little posts of little toothpicks standing straight up. So there's quite a few I need to add. So I just, you know, put a little bit of hot glue down, try to do like 4 at a time before my hot glue sets up, trying to get them relatively level. It's okay if you don't get them quite level though, because you can always just trim them up with your scissors. The toothpicks are really easy to cut. So just going to go all the way around, just kind of eyeballing the spacing on those. And this gave me a great effect. I'm so glad that I decided to do this on this Lighthouse DIY. Now I wanted like some rope to kind of like tie them all together and kind of make it, you know, stronger because they're just hot glued on there. It looks kind of haphazard. So I take some Dollar Tree twine and a little hot glue. And we are going to secure all those little toothpicks in place, but we're also going to wrap the, the lid, and it's going to give it, a better appearance. It's going to look less like a jar lid and part of the lighthouse design. But it's not going to interfere with anything. All the decorations there are on the outside of the jar lid. I'm just trimming down any that are a little bit longer than the others. And then I also wanted to use like twine to go around and connect all of the little beams together. And you could use that same twine from the Dollar Tree. I'm just burning off the fuzzies. You can see what we have there so far. I did have a different kind of twine though, like the brown and white twine from the Dollar Tree. And just to mix it up, I'm going to switch colors here. And I just need a piece to go around. And I'm not going to tie it on each one of the toothpicks because that would like take forever. I'm just going to use a dot of hot glue on each toothpick and just kind of glue that around for the top of it. Just checking to make sure my candle still fits in here and it fits like a glove. So I just glue like, 2 to 3 at a time. I don't want to make too much of a mess with hot glue, but I don't want it to dry before I get my rope on there as well. I just work my way all the way around, and this provided such a fun touch, and it's super functional here for the candle holder. And since it is a glass jar candle holder, it's all enclosed in glass, so I don't really have to worry too much about this part being flammable because it's not going to be anywhere near the candle when it's lit. But that's what that little section of the lighthouse, if anybody knows what that's called, you'll have to let me know. And I just sit that right down on top of the lid, kind of putting the lid back together, and it performs that great base for the candle. I'm going to go ahead and glue my candle down to that little jar lid, just to kind of make it a little bit more stable. And if I'm going to be able to switch it out. I think I might need a new lid since I did glue it down, but I thought that would make it more stable. But, you don't have to do that step. So that's what it looks like so far, our little candle holder. I'm also going to use the jar lid. That's going to look like, the top of the lighthouse as well. But a lot of times there's like a little round piece on the very top of a lighthouse. So I thought we could use like one of these little beachy color glass gems from the Dollar Tree and just glue one of those to the top of the lid. It's not going to interfere with anything, but it's going to kind of add to the lighthouse feel. And easy peasy, I'm just going to attach that to the glass lid with just a little bit of hot glue. Just like that. And now we can just put the little lid back on the little jar candle. And now most of the lighthouse is complete. I did want to decorate the base of it with some pebbles or rocks. So I decided to use like the little white rocks from the Dollar Tree. I was trying to decide between that and the blue ones. I decided to go with the white, but I think either one would look really cute. And I'm just doing like about half of the wood slice with a thick layer of school glue. And we are going to glue these little pebbles down. This is something that you might want to put something down for. It's going to make a little bit of a mess. But I just sprinkle the little white pebbles all over the school glue. You can also use tacky glue for this. I usually do use tacky glue for the pebbles, but for some reason I just grabbed the school glue, but I think it's going to do a decent job as well. And so I just did the other half as well, and then I like to glue it on top to make it more secure. And I like to use this little aerosol spray glue that I get at the Dollar Tree and spray that all over. I did give it a couple sprays of that. And then we're going to set it aside to let that dry, but it turned out so cute. Check out my little candle holder, a lighthouse with a little blue candle on top. I love the different textures of the burlap. I think it looks so beachy and fun. And I think it's also super sturdy and functional. I don't really have a problem with lighting this candle. It's not super tall, and with that base and everything, I think it will be super stable. But this is how it looks like lit up. So all you have to do is take the little lid off of the candle and you can light your candle and it lights up just like the top of a lighthouse. So I thought this was a really fun DIY. I hope you enjoyed this one too. And that's just kind of how you can use yours. And you can always switch up the colors too for your color scheme. Okay, the next DIY, I wanted to make a lighthouse like sign. So I'm going to start with one of these galvanized metal lighthouses from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree and some of their macrame cord. They have it in colors now too, which is super exciting. I picked up some blue and some of the white from both from Dollar Tree. Now, if you don't have this little metal galvanized lighthouse and you want to recreate this project, you could always do this with a piece of cardboard. The shape of a lighthouse is pretty simple. You could just trace that out, cut it out, and do the same thing with a piece of cardboard. I think that would work really well too. I'm just starting with the white macrame cord and just wrapping that around that bottom section. And I am like hot gluing, every couple of rows, I start hot gluing that to the galvanized metal just to keep my spacing good and to kind of keep it secure exactly where I wanted it. But I'm not going too crazy with the gluing, just kind of like in the middle, kind of underneath. Once I got a good bit of white, I'm going to keep that line going, but then I'm going to start adding some blue. So this is the only one that I counted. I did a total of, I believe it was 8 rows of blue. And then I kind of just estimated on my white sections because I want to go all the way up with the macrame cord, making it a blue and white striped lighthouse that's going to go on our lighthouse sign. And I love all the textures of the macrame. Once I got enough of the blue, I switched back to my white, which, I had never disconnected to the back. I just kind of left it underneath, kind of like I'm doing now with the blue, so it doesn't get in the way, and then just start wrapping with white again. Now I'm going to kind of ignore the windows and stuff on there. At one point I thought about painting those back on after I get it all wrapped, but I really liked the stripes and the simplicity of it, so I really didn't bother with that. That's another reason why you could totally use cardboard for this. So I count 8 of the blue again, and then just stop that on the back and switch back to the white ones. So you'll notice that there's kind of a pattern on the back where you see me start and stop each color, but I thought it would be easier just to go ahead and leave it connected like that than rather cutting and starting, but it's totally up to you. I'm going to add this to a sign so you won't be able to see the back of it. But you could also do this with like the brown twine from the Dollar Tree if you didn't want yours to be so colorful. I wanted some fun blue in this one. And I also picked up this macrame cord in bright purple, bright pink. Very fun. I found it at one of my larger Dollar Trees though. So I don't know if all of the Dollar Trees are carrying the colors yet, but I'm a big fan of the white. As you guys see, I've been using it all of the time. I'm definitely going to have to stock up on some more. I'm going to finish it off with a blue section for the top. I also did that little blue bump out part of the lighthouse with blue too. I'm not really counting when I get to these sections, just trying to finish off the whole section with a solid color. So we wrapped the whole thing with Dollar Tree macrame cord. And then I told you I was going to add this to a picture. And I found these great long canvases from the Dollar Tree of a beach scene. I think it's actually the same beach scene, kind of cut up a little bit differently. They were nice and long though, which is going to make them perfect for this DIY. And then I thought I could just use some scrap wood to make a really coastal rustic frame for this. This is actually old wood we had in our garage, and I cut it down into 1-foot portions so that I could use it for DIYs, but it's very similar to the craft wood that you get at the Dollar Tree, so you could totally recreate it with that. I'm just going to do a super rustic, and it worked out perfectly that I cut them down to 1 foot because that's how tall these little canvases are from the Dollar Tree. And if you can't find these canvases, painting an ocean scene, like a really abstract one on a Dollar Tree sign would be pretty easy. And I've done that a couple times in my videos. I'm going to pop out the little hangers on the back of these canvases to save for another DIY today. But what I'm going to do is just attach them together. They are 4 inches wide and 12 inches long. So it's going to be like an 8 by 12. A rather large sign that I need to frame out, but it's the perfect height for the lighthouse because the lighthouse is also 12 inches or 1 foot tall. I just hot glued the canvases together, and that seam in the middle is going to be covered up by my lighthouse, so I don't need to worry about that. And see how these are already the right length? So I'll only have to cut down the top and the bottom piece. And I'm just going to go from one side completely to the other side. I'm not going to miter any corners or anything. It's just going to be a very simple rustic farmhouse frame for this. So I cut those both down to size. And now I'm just going to try to build this around my canvases. And I found those, some of those long skinny ones too, and other ocean scenes that were like sideways too. So that's a fun size, a little bit different from the ones that are square. Now the frame, I want it to look like rustic, like driftwood. So I'm going to use like some ivory color mixed together with some antique wax by Waverly. It gives you that perfect like shore driftwood base. And I am just going to paint all of the surfaces of this because you're going to be able to kind of see the outsides, the insides on these. So I go over all 4 sides of each one. Once I get a coat on there, I wipe it down with a baby wipe so I can kind of still see that wood grain shine through because I don't want to disguise the fact that it's actually made out of real wood. And so I just keep doing that on all 4 sides. Once I get like this perfect like driftwood like base color on there, I do go back and distress it a little bit more with a little bit of antique wax by Waverly just to give it like a coastal farmhouse vibe with like a very light wood grain added to it as well. So that looks pretty good. I got all 4 sides of all 4 pieces stained that color. And then this is the antique wax by Waverly. And I'm just using like one of those little chippy brushes from the Dollar Tree since this is kind of a bigger project. And I distress all 4 sides anywhere you're going to be able to see it. And then blend that in with a baby wipe just to make it look a little bit better. Now it's time to frame this in our canvas. I'm just going to go ahead and put it together around the canvas. So I will make it custom to size because my cuts might not be perfect here, but we're going to make this work. I kind of wanted like friction to kind of keep it in there. I'm going to start off with a little dot of hot glue on all 4 corners to get me started, but that is not strong enough at all to build this like rustic frame. I am going to have to go back with some nails, but I want the canvas to sit in the back of it and it to be a boxy little frame like this that can sit up on its own to display that really cute little lighthouse that we wrapped with macrame cord. So I'm going to use just some finishing nails that I had in my garage, something long enough to go through that wood because it was fairly chunky and thick. And I did like 1 or 2 finishing nails in each corner and just nail those straight down into the side pieces. Gonna flip it over and do the other side. The reason I said 1 to 2 is because some of them, you know, my cutting wasn't perfect for because I just used like the 12-foot pieces that I had. And I wanted it to look as tight as possible. So sometimes you might need to put like 1 in the front and 1 in the back. We're going for rustic on this, so doesn't have to look perfect, but I think it looks fairly decent. I don't want this to like wiggle around my canvas in there, so I do use like a bead of hot glue all along the back just to help secure that in place. And now we can add our lighthouse with this beautiful like beach background. And it's going to be kind of a 3D effect since it's got like such a chunky little frame. That I'm going to have room to add rocks and stuff like that as well to make it look super coastal and fun. So there's our two canvases together. Right now they look a little bit crazy, but again, the lighthouse covers that seam completely and fits in there perfectly. I love the blue and white stripes. They're so bright and pretty. I'm going to put a good amount of hot glue on the back of our little macrame lighthouse and just glue that to the canvases. Since like the little metal lighthouse was so skinny, I still have plenty of room there on that bottom lip of the frame. And I thought we could use some of these little stones from the Dollar Tree to decorate. I really like these stones because they're like all different shapes, sizes, colors. They really remind me of a rocky shore where you could find a lighthouse. And this one's going to have a beach too, you know, like some of our Florida lighthouses down here on the beach. So I just start like kind of alternating color, shapes, and sizes and just gluing those either to the canvas or to the frame. And I kind of want them, I don't want them to look real symmetrical. I just want to cover most of the surface there at the bottom. Maybe pile them up a little bit larger on one side. And just keep adding them until I'm happy with them. And that part was really fun. I think it definitely adds to like the coastal, you know, shore touch. And again, I thought about adding windows to that, but I really like the simplicity of the stripe. So we're just gonna leave the stripe pattern on our little lighthouse. And this is how it turned out. Again, it's a really large piece. I really liked using the little Dollar Tree beach canvases as a background. But look how cute the little macrame lighthouse turned out. What a fun sign. It sits on its own, or you could always hang this on the wall as well. And it's super fun with all of those little pebbles and rocks at the bottom, I think. Okay, are you ready for another lighthouse DIY? It's not all going to be lighthouse DIYs today, but this is another one. And so this is another one of those little vases from the Dollar Tree. I got this one in yellow because I kind of thought about doing like little cutouts for the windows, but I decided against that. So it doesn't really matter that it's yellow because I'm going to cover it up anyway. But this is going to be an outdoor version of a lighthouse, one that you can use outside. I'm going to use another jar lid from the Dollar Tree and one of their little candle holders that come like 4 in a pack, the little glass ones. And the only difference is that jar lid was one that was one piece. And so it's not the 2 pieces like we used before. I'm going to use some of this vinyl top liner from the Dollar Tree to cover the outside of this. I wanted something fairly weatherproof because this is going to be a solar lighthouse, and I wanted stuff that would be really durable so I could sit this outside. So I want to try to find a way to use like this shelf liner to make it look like a nice stone lighthouse. Very simple kind of the design on this one. I wanted it to be really durable to be able to be outside, so I can't go real frou-frou like I did before, but I also decorate it so it turns out cool. Now this was a little difficult to get this on. I think the burlap was more forgiving, like wrapping this around, but you can kind of see how I lined this up to wrap this because I want it to be, you know, tighter in the skinnier parts of the lighthouse. And I'm just using hot glue to attach that to the jar and to the material itself, trying to pull it as tight as I can. And then I wasn't sure exactly how to cut it before, so I'd made it a little bit too long. So now I can just go trim that shelf liner flat against the bottom of our vase. And I love this shape of vase for these lighthouse DIYs because you're already going to get that great shape. I'm going to cut mine here because it wasn't super tight and make another seam most of the way down and glue that on top of each other there just to tighten that up because it was gapping a little bit on one side of my lighthouse, and that did help with the shape a little bit. Just trying to get all of my seams as flat as I can. Since it's got that great like mottled stone appearance, you really can't see the seams very much. And this one, I want it to be weatherproof. So I'm going to do my lid face down like that. I don't want there to be like anywhere that's going to be able to hold water or anything in my final design. And so I'm just going to kind of have the base be there for my little solar light. And then I'm just using a black Sharpie, and I'm just going to draw like 3 little simple like little arch windows on the front of this. Super easy to draw on this shelf liner. And I really like that stone appearance. I was trying to find something to give me an old stone feel for a stone lighthouse. So just trying to make those as even as I can. We have 3 little windows I added to the front. Again, I'm trying to make this as weatherproof as possible. So I don't want it to be something that's going to blow over all the time in my weather by sitting it outside. So the first thing I do is use some Dollar Tree pebbles. You can use whatever you've got, just something to weigh down like the bottom half of the vase. So it's not top heavy or anything like that. And it's going to make it a little bit more stable because it is glass. I don't want it to break. Now I'm going to use some more of that multi-purpose cement from Dollar Tree to try to make this as secure as possible. Hot glue does not hold up great outside. I do have to use it for a few things on here, but I'm trying to not use it if I can. And that worked great. I just glued that lid right on there. And then I'm going to combine the little solar light cap from the Dollar Tree and that little tiny candle holder that comes in the 4-pack from the Dollar Tree. It's like a little tea light holder. I thought that would be the perfect size for the top of our little lighthouse. So I just do a bead of that multi-purpose cement along the base of that, combining that with a little bit of hot glue to help keep us going. And we're going to sit that just upright like that, gluing that to the jar lid. The jar lid is important because it gives me a place to put that on, but it's also kind of an important part in a lighthouse shape. Then once I get that on there, I just go ahead around the rim of that little candle holder, and I'm just going to glue the top of the solar light directly on. Just this top part. That's all that's necessary. It's going to glow up that little candle holder that we put on there and make the little light up part of the lighthouse. So it fits on there perfectly. It's almost exactly the same size, which is why I chose that little candle holder for the top. And that is how it looks so far. It's coming together. I do want to add a little bit of decorative touch to it, but I also want stuff that is going to really, hold up well outside in the weather. And I thought a fishing net would be great, but I wanted something durable and something from the Dollar Tree. So I decided to use one of these little rug underlay mats from the Dollar Tree. Kind of looks like fishnet, right? And it's made out of that like rubbery material, so I think it's gonna hold up really well. And I kind of wanted to drape like fishing net on the back and like one side of the lighthouse. I thought that would be really cute. So I just cut out a little piece of that rug liner, trying to figure out exactly how I want to attach it. I kind of really only want it on one side of our little lighthouse. So once I get it kind of figured out, I want to do it like on the right side, kind of like that. We can start attaching it. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing it on first with a little bit of hot glue. And then I can always trim it down later. So I do a bead of hot glue on that back seam and then just glue that down there. And again, I'm only going to have it on one side, so I just go ahead and trim off the excess right there. And I know some of you guys have said you've used this for a fishing net before. I've had this forever and I've never used it. And you guys are right, it makes a great fishing net. Nice small size. I also kind of loop it around. I want it to look like it drapes down the side of it, but I also don't want it to be super long. So I trim it up a little bit. And I just kind of want it draping out one side of the lighthouse, just somewhere that I could add a little bit more decoration to this, because this is super functional. I made everything really durable to be outside, and so it's not as decorative like as the first one that we made, the candle holder. And I decided to take some little Dollar Tree seashells and just kind of hot glue those onto the fishing net. Hopefully this will hold up with the hot glue. If it doesn't, I'll just go back with like some stronger glue. All of my wind chimes have held up really well that I used hot glue on out in my Florida room, except for one I had to glue on like with some stronger glue, but I was really surprised how well they hold up. So I thought 3 seashells would be a really cute decoration, and there's our very simple little stone lighthouse, and it is also a solar light. So I think that is so fun. Again, this one doesn't have a lot of the details that first one did because I want it to be so durable, and that shelf liner is really like a kind of a rubbery surface. I think it's going to hold up really well outside and look so cute for like a decor. And look at this like cool pattern it gives when you light it up at night. I thought that was really fun. I had mine fully charged for you so I could turn out the lights and kind of show you how it looks at night. Isn't that a fun little lighthouse DIY? I had so much fun putting this one together, and I really like that shelf liner. It does definitely give you that like stone vibe. Okay, the next couple DIYs, we're going to make some little shore signs using some of this great nautical burlap from Dollar Tree and some of their little shore living nautical pieces. I really like these little board signs they have at the Dollar Tree now. I'm going to use the white ones, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be covering them with burlap. But I like them because they're chunky and fun. And I want to kind of cover each one with like a different burlap. And these are the shore living like burlaps, the nautical prints. I noticed like the nautical ones don't sell quite as fast as the beachy ones, but they're still super cute. This is the anchor design. And so I'm just going to cut a piece of that burlap out a little bit larger than I need for the sign. I want to cover the entire back, and I don't want it to fray or anything like that. So that's why I cut the burlap down a little bit larger. I'm going to do a nice coat of Mod Podge all over the front of our sign. And then it's got the little grooves in there between the little boards, but I'm going to kind of not really do anything much with those. I just lay the little anchor burlap on top. And I thought these different coastal burlaps would make great backgrounds to those little white wall decor signs from the Dollar Tree. So I want this to be secure. So I also do Mod Podge on top of the burlap, making sure it is glued down well. Once I get it good and dry, then I can go in and trim it down to size. I use some super sharp scissors and just try to get as close to the side of the sign as I can. And this worked out really well with no fraying. So maybe this is a secret. I think it was all the Mod Podge on there. Whenever you cut the burlap that has Mod Podge on it that's been dried, you're going to have way less chance of fraying because it does fray. So I thought I would switch it up with the other one. This is another one of those shore living burlaps. This one has like the different blue stripes on it. I was trying to decide whether it looked more coastal, like horizontal or up and down. I decided to kind of go with vertical. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm just going to cut a piece a little larger than our sign. And you could do this with shelf sitters. I'm going to attach that white sailboat and that white anchor to the front, both from the shore living line. I did notice that the sailboat one stood up fine, but the lighthouse one was too heavy. But I am making mine little hanging signs, and so I didn't have to worry about that. But you might want to keep that in mind if you're going to do the anchor one. So just like before, I Mod Podged this piece down, and then I also Mod Podged it on the top and dried the whole thing with my heat gun. And then I can go in and trim off all the excess. I was trying to decide if I was going to do my anchor one on the one with the anchor or kind of switch it up. So I kind of feel out which one looks the best with which. And these little like anchors came in all different colors. I'm just going to go ahead and use white for both of these. We'll kind of coordinate together. A little white anchor and a little white sailboat. I also cut off the rope of the anchor just to make sure that I could attach it to the sign a little bit better and kind of flatter. I decided to kind of switch it up. I kind of like the sailboat on the anchor and then the anchor on the stripes. And we're just going to attach these with hot glue. That's going to kind of seep through the burlap and glue that to that sign in the back. So it's going to be nice and secure. And these were so easy to make. They look great for shore decorations and just using a couple of inexpensive items from the Dollar Tree. The sailboat was like the wall charm. And they had some really cute ones this year. Hopefully you were able to pick some up. Again, I said I was going to make mine hanging. So these are the little sawtooth hangers that we took off those little canvases from our little macrame Lighthouse DIY. And I love these because you can just nail these straight in the back and you have a really simple hanger that is also really sturdy. Whenever I hammer on my silicone mat, I feel like I have to hammer really hard. But this is them. Aren't they cute? Two little shore signs. So easy to make. And I love all these different kinds of burlap that they've been getting in at the Dollar Tree. I think they're so pretty. Not just the shore living ones. Like, you know, I did a lot of crafts with like the bee ones. They have so many. They had so many fun ones for spring. And I think they're so cute. I love working with burlap. It just screams coastal or like nautical decor to me. And look how easy these little signs were to put together. And super inexpensive. I think these would look really great like in a coastal bathroom or something like that, where you don't have a lot of space for a big sign. And here's our little anchor and stripes. And our little sailboat on the anchors. Very coastal, but also very nautical. Okay, the next DIY, we're going to take these little frames from the Dollar Tree, 3 of them. We're going to make these into a lobster trap. That's very sure, right? Now, these are the plastic ones. They have wood ones now too, which might work even better. But at the time, all I could find was the plastic ones. So just going to remove the little paper signs from these and see how they're kind of naturally shaped, like the shape of a lobster trap. That's what kind of gave me the idea that this might work for this project. I just need to kind of remove, they have like a little bit of gooey hot glue holding those signs on. And I'm gonna cover these. I don't want that like fancy like cathedral design in my lobster trap. So I'm gonna kind of cover that with popsicle sticks to make that look like boards. But I kind of just want to get this all cleaned up to begin with. So the back of these is plastic as well, and it's black, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to paint everything anyway. I wanted to look like weathered wood, like an old lobster trap. So I'm just mixing a gray. I didn't have any gray, so I'm just mixing black and white together. And I just want, normally I would do like for driftwood, I would do like that like light brown color. But I really wanted this to look weathered, which is one reason why I am doing gray. So I'm just going in with a brush and painting the back of all of these. And again, the lobster trap itself won't have this ornate design, but I do kind of need to paint it anyway to get it started for any areas that you might be able to see behind it. Once I get it on there, then I kind of mix the tan color together by mixing white and brown together, distressing the gray with that. That gives me that wood tone, but gives me that really weathered look, just kind of distressing in one direction to kind of give me a faux wood grain. So that definitely looks like weathered wood. And it doesn't really matter what color of these you get because you're going to be painting them anyway, right? So I just painted all of these gray as well. Kind of have to get in all the little window areas too, which is kind of why I was using a brush on this one. And that's probably the only time-consuming part on painting these. And then just like before, I distress it with just a tan color of acrylic paints mixed together. And those little silicone ice cube trays from the Dollar Tree work great for paints. A little hack there for crafting. And I think that looks pretty good. I did a good job of getting all the insides of those. And again, I told you I wanted to cover up that ornate pattern. I want it to look like, you know, the boards, like a lobster trap would look. So I am using jumbo popsicle sticks for the board. So I want them to look like distressed wood as well. So I'm going to kind of do the same paint effects on these. And I thought I was going to need like 5 of them for each one of those signs. So I'm just kind of mixing some water with that gray paint because I kind of wanted to do just a very light stain on these. And so it's just a really watery paint because I want that wood grain of the popsicle stick to shine through because these really are made out of wood. So when I follow that up with a baby wipe, you can see that beautiful wood grain come through on the cheap popsicle sticks and really give you that weathered wood feel. So we're going to do that on all 3 sets of 5, so a total of 15 of the jumbo popsicle sticks. I usually get those at Walmart because I don't normally see the really big ones like this at Dollar Tree, but you could do it with the smaller ones as well. Now I'm going to cut like a straight end here on my popsicle stick. And then we can start cutting these down to size. These popsicle sticks are super easy to cut. I do usually like to use like my heavy duty scissors like the KitchenAid. And I'm just gonna measure and cut these down to size. And we're gonna cover up, you know, that all that crazy area there, make it look like more like a lobster trap would look. And this is kind of straight up and down. So a lot of those pieces are all gonna be cut like the same size. Straight up like that. Trying to figure out my spacing. I'll need another one at the top. This one I kind of want to cut off the corner so it goes with that rounded effect of our little lobster trap. And once I put this lobster trap together, it's also going to be a little tier tray for my kitchen. It turned out so cute. It was so fun to make and definitely goes with the shore feel of these DIYs today. This piece was a little tricky to cut down that shape, but I think we pulled it off. And I'm just going to attach these with hot glue onto our little plastic shelf. So we're going to start with this end piece. And I'm going to space them out a little bit like they would be like on a lobster trap. But also it's going to cover up with a lot of that ornate design there behind it, which I really wanted to kind of cover up. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to glue it on all the areas that I can to secure that. And then I think 3 more pieces to fill in the rest of the area. So we're kind of masking that pattern there, but also giving it a new pattern, you know, the board look of a lobster trap. And I did kind of study like what lobster traps look like to kind of come up with plans for this, because this was something that I saw in my mind when I was trying to go to sleep. And I was like, I bet I could use those little cathedral window signs from the Dollar Tree to make a lobster trap. And that is exactly what I did. And I love this DIY. I think it turned out so cute. So I did the same exact thing with the other 2 shelves, gluing that all together. Now we're going to switch to the Dollar Tree wood rulers. You guys know I love to use these. They come 2 to a package at the Dollar Tree, and they're a great strong piece of wood. And once you remove the little plastic stickers on there, you're going to just have plain wood. I wanted something really sturdy to put the structure of this lobster trap together. And these are, you know, 1 foot long. They're going to be the perfect size. and they're made out of real wood, so that's a win-win. And I'm so glad it's back to school season because I've actually been able to find these at the Dollar Tree again. For a while there, I was only finding the plastic, and I always love crafting with these. They do have a hole in the end, and I was worried that that was going to kind of interfere with my design, so I just filled all of the holes in the rulers in with a little bit of Dollar Tree spackle to take care of that issue. I'm going to give them the same kind of like paint and stain effect that we used on our popsicle sticks, because this is going to be like, I'm going to stand the lobster trap up on its side to make it into a tier tray. So these are going to be like the sides and the back pieces. So the first thing I do is just give it a gray wash by mixing gray acrylic paint together with water. And then before it dries, I go over them with a baby wipe. And again, you're going to get that wood grain coming through, which really makes it look like that weathered wood. And you don't have to distress it by doing it that way. That's another reason why I did it that way. So we're going to do the same thing here on all the backs. And as you can see, I'm doing a total of 10 rulers. It's going to be a whole tier tray that we're making today. So it's going to be a pretty nice sized lobster trap in the end. So both sides really need to be stained just in case you're going to be able to see them from the inside and stuff like that as well. And now I'm going to start kind of cutting some of these pieces down to start building this tier tray. I don't want all to be blocked in because, again, I want to use it as a tier tray. So I do want to have one section that is kind of open. So I'm just kind of cutting these down. I measured about how long I needed them to be to go from one shelf to the other one, and then cut down all of the pieces. So I have a total of 8 of these like half pieces here of the ruler, and that is going to like 4 is going to be one side of the lobster trap, because we're not going to go all the way up on this one. We're only going to go to the second tier. And kind of lining those up in that same board pattern, I'm using a little spacing in between and attaching those to the sides of my cathedral windows with a little bit of hot glue. And I'm doing that little ridge area towards the inside of the tray, so the outside of my lobster trap will be nice and flat like that. And I kind of alternated the ones that had like the holes in them as well to kind of give them just a random board pattern. And now I'm going to put on my second shelf. And I'm lining it up not all the way to the back there, but just kind of to the little wood ridge in the ruler. Now I want this piece to go all the way up to the third row. And it's going to be for structure. This is going to be kind of the right side piece. And I glue that to both shelves as well, but leaving it intact, not cutting this one down. So that's what we have so far for our lobster trap. Now we need to fill in the other side. We're going to do it exactly the same way by doing 4 of the little cut down half rulers. And just gluing those in with a little bit of spacing in between. And again, I do overlap here to the back a little bit, and you'll see why later. It kind of makes it work out better in the end in the design. And then I do another whole ruler here for the left side piece. And this is going to provide structure, which is going to help us keep the top tier, the final part of the lobster trap in place. So that's what it looks like so far, and now we can start building the back. The back is also going to get the full rulers, and I'm going to do the ridge to the back so that part won't be visible at all. And I just start gluing those to both of those bottom shelves and just spacing them out with that board pattern, and a total of 4 of the rulers there on the back. And that's why I kind of overlap those, so it would kind of form a perfect corner there in the back. And now this is going to be the top shelf of our little lobster trap tier tray. So I'm going to do some hot glue on these rulers and sit that side down, gluing that piece to the back. And now you can kind of see why I did the full rulers for the two front sides for structure, because I need something to attach to the sides of the top shelf here of our little lobster trap. And I left those side panels open like that because now we can go in and put some netting in there to make this look like a real lobster trap. Now, like on a real lobster trap, you would continue that board pattern all along the front, or the top of it, but I want to use that as open shelving. I did use a little tiny nail in each side of these just to help, kind of give me a little bit more support there on the shelves, because that piece is really critical. And I am nailing into plastic. The wood ones might be a little bit more durable, but actually I think this is held up pretty well. Now this is what I'm going to use for my fishnet. This is one of those little ombre market tote bags from the Dollar Tree. But you can use whatever you have. That rug mat that we used earlier would be great too. I just kind of wanted a smaller scale fishing net. And so I'm just going to kind of cut this market back down. These are some other options. That's like the fishing net they have at the Dollar Tree. I don't really like that because the holes are too big. But then again, that's what we just used. You could also use that because I know these bags are a little hard to find. I love them though. I wish they carried them more. And I don't want any of the pink netting. I only want the ivory netting. So I'm just cutting the straps off, cutting the pink off. And we're going to make this work. Now, a lobster trap has like this netting on the side that they use as part of the trap design, I believe. I don't know. I've never trapped a lobster, but I had a lot of fun putting this together. So I'm going to start by hot gluing this together, kind of piecing it together. It's going to cover about half of it, this little section. And I just keep trimming it down to size and just using a little bit of hot glue. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the other section as well. I'm piecing it together so it'll kind of have an opening there on the side. But I think that's going to be just fine. And part of it's also going to go with the design. So I'm going to cut down another strip of this market bag. And we can start doing the same thing here on the other side. And I was just hot gluing it to the inside just to kind of make it look a little bit cleaner. And then just finishing this one up, gluing it around the structure with an opening there in the middle. And I want to kind of make this look like a lobster trap has like a little hole in the side of it. And I thought these little wood rings from the Dollar Tree would be perfect. And since I already had to kind of piece together my netting, I think that's going to look great. So I just glue that to that netting. And then I actually use that to kind of bring all of my pieces together and kind of finish it up and make it look like a real lobster trap. And I just glue any of the other netting together. And isn't this cute? It's super functional too. I'm going to use it as a tier tray for my kitchen. And it totally looks like a little lobster trap. Isn't that fun? Very fun coastal DIY. Something that I thought about right before going to bed. Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick moment, let you know about my Facebook group. I have it linked below. I would love if you would join us. You can see what everybody's been working on and find out when I post new videos. I also have a Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And my handle is Crafty Beach on YouTube. So this is how it turned out, my little lobster trap tier tray for my kitchen. And I have this little area next to my stove, between my stove and refrigerator, that I thought would be really fun to decorate over here with this fun little design. But I wanted to give you a little view of our little Dollar Tree lobster trap first. And we're also going to make some DIYs to decorate this with. I wanted to do like a crab lobster theme, of course. And so I found this little white dish with like a little stand at the Dollar Tree. And I thought this would be perfect for a little DIY for this. We could make a little lobster plate to go with our little lobster trap. So perfect. I just used some Dollar Tree red vinyl, and I just went on Cricut Design Space and just cut out a little lobster. Super easy. I don't remember if I think this was just a Cricut Design Space. I'll have to see if I have any of these images for you that I used for the tier tray decor. If I do, I will post those in the description below. Just using my paper transfer paper and putting that on there, and now we have a little lobster plate, which is going to be perfect for my kitchen. I thought it needed a little bit more color though, so I'm going to go in with a red paint pen and kind of paint a red edge on this little plate tray. And it's already got a built-in stand, so this is a perfect addition for a little lobster or crab theme here. And I'm going to stand that up on this shelf of our little lobster trap. Then I wanted to do like a little menu board, and so I picked up one of these little tiny easel signs from the Dollar Tree too that has like a little clip on it. I thought that would be perfect for a little menu, and I just designed this on my computer, just something simple. It says catch of the day, fresh lobster, again like the red and the white, and I just cut that on cardstock, or printed it on cardstock and cut that down to size and just clipped that on there. Nothing else to that, but I think it's going to go really well with this little theme. And some of the stuff over here is going to be functional, like red plastic cups and stuff like that, but a lot of it's going to be just decor. I do have a little lobster from the Shore Living line, and then they also have these like little grow creatures in the toy aisle at Dollar Tree. They have like a lobster one, and they have a crab one, so I thought those would be really cute on our design. So we're going to put our little lobster here in front of our little catch of the day sign. And maybe a little red crab over here. It's not a crab trap, but it totally goes with the feel. And then maybe a little lobster trying to get trapped in the trap, going for like the little hole in the side. And I just attach him by kind of stringing him on the netting there. Then this is one of the little jute balls from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree. I thought that would go with the nautical shore feel. And we're just going to put that over here, kind of peeking out from behind the little catch of the day sign. And it's not a super big tier tray, but it's fun. Now for the top shelf, I found one of these little red crabs from the Dollar Tree. It's like a little tiny vase. And I thought this would be perfect because we can make this one functional. And it's going to hold like my toothpicks for my kitchen. Just fitting that right inside. And that's going to be perfect for the very top of our lobster trap and the third tier of our little tier tray right on top. And I did paint that with a little matte Mod Podge on a previous DIY to make him not quite so shiny, but he's super cute. Now this is just a leftover piece of a ruler that I had, and I just cut that down a little bit so we can make just a little menu for that theme for our little lobster. And I'm just using a red paint pen because we're just a little miniature size book, and just painting that little tiny piece of the ruler, that bright red color. I love DIYing little miniature stuff like this. I think it's so fun. That's one reason why I love doing tier trays so much. I just use a white paint pen and just draw on the word menu. And that's going to be a perfect little addition there. I'm going to put it in front of our little lobster plate. And that is how it turned out for my kitchen, our little lobster trap tier tray. I think it's really fun. What do you guys think about this DIY? And I actually put like some red plastic cups and stuff over next to it too. Kind of goes with the theme. Hey guys, I wanted to let you guys know that I've introduced memberships on my channel. For $4.99 a month, you can help support me here at Crafty Beach. You're going to get early ad-free access to my videos like this one and a few other perks as well. And I want to give a huge thank you to the following Crafty Beach members. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Coastal Couple, Pamela Bergeron, I Am Mojo Jojo, Melinda Elizabeth, who this video was for, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Sandra Ray, Stacy Hall, Carrie R., Tracy Knight, and Verna Nautical. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And now it's time for the final reveal. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. Comment your favorite short DIY below or just come say hello in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. Enjoy!
For better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us. If we just hold on tight, this vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore. 7 years now on this boat, and we all know where we belong. Just wait. For our home to show on the horizon, soon we'll be there. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us. If we just hold on tight, this vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore when we can't read the sky. We just sail with the wind that we've got. And when we're drowning in doubt, just keep on believing. We are dreamers of the shore. For better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us. If we just hold on tight, this vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore.
so much for watching. If you'd like to watch more Crafty Beach, YouTube thinks you might enjoy this video right here.